When I was in high school, 2 of my friends and I hung out almost every Friday and Saturday. I was the oldest one of the 3, and the only one of us that had a driver's license at the time. I drove this ancient car that sputtered and hesitated, but for a couple of high school kids that just wanted to get out of our neighborhood, it worked great. One thing we were looking forward to at the end of the school year was taking a long trip in the car, since during the school year, our parents never let us be out later than 8 p.m., even on the weekends. I'd only been driving for 6 months, and they were worried we'd get into some kind of situation and not be able to get home. I think that's why they let me drive that ancient Subaru, because it really wouldn't go very far. One afternoon after our last day at school, we were hyped to take a long drive to the countryside. We lived in central Pennsylvania, which isn't exactly the hub of exciting destinations for kids. But we did live close enough to Gettysburg to make it a day trip. Our parents all agreed it was a good way for us to enjoy a summer drive and not get into any trouble along the way. Now, if you're not familiar with Gettysburg, it's the site of one of the most famous battles of the Civil War. Nearly 51,000 soldiers, many teenagers like us, died during the 3-day battle. So many men and boys died that graves were quickly dug to dispose of the bodies so they wouldn't be taken by animals. In fact, so many died that their bodies were found for the next 100 years. My dad told me that when he was in high school, a family that was visiting the site found the remains of a dead soldier. Surely there isn't anything that 3 teenagers headed to Gettysburg could get into trouble with, was there? As we arrived at the park, it was getting late in the afternoon, so we decided to just do the driving tour before heading home. We'd come back another time when we had more daylight. We pulled into the cemetery parking lot and got out to explore just as the sun was setting. People were all around, mostly headed back to their cars since the park was closing soon. As we got back to the car, it was dark out, and we were tired and ready to go home. Just then, something appeared out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but nothing was there. My friend Jordan thought that he saw it too, but neither of us was sure what it could have been. "What's that?" Jordan exclaimed. What we saw sent shivers down our spine. There, on one of the grave markers, was a whitish figure that looked like he was wearing a uniform. I quickly pulled out my cell phone to try and get a photo, but just then the battery died. As I was fidgeting with my phone, I heard the doors to the car open and close. Jordan and Betsy were already in the car, scared to death, shouting, "Let's go! Let's go!" I looked again at the grave marker and the figure was gone, but my heart was pounding. I hopped in the driver's seat and tried to start the car. The whir of the engine was followed by a click of the starter, and then nothing. My phone was dead, so I couldn't call my parents, and my hands were shaking too much to dial anyway. Thankfully, a park ranger pulled up in the lot just behind us and told us we had to head home because the park was closed. When I told him what happened, he just smiled and said, "Oh, you met Confederate Sam." "Who's that?" we asked. "Lots of Confederate soldiers were killed and buried here that never made it home. You must have met one of them. It's time for you guys to go home." Concerned about my car not starting, I got in and tried again, and it started right up. As we drove out of the park, my phone came to life again, and I saw I had missed a call from someone named Sam.